उद्घाट्य योगकलया हृदयाब्जकोशं धन्यैश्चिरादपि यथारुचि गृह्यमाणः यः प्रस्फुरत्यविरतं परिपूर्णरूपः श्रेयस्समे दिशतु शाश्वतिकं मुकुन्दः अमरीकबरीभारभ्रमरी मुखरीकृतं दूरीकरोतु दुरितं गौरी चरणपङ्कजं परस्परतपःसम्पत्फलायित परस्परौ प्रपञ्चमातापितरौ प्राञ्चौ जायापति स्तुमः. We'll start with Kavyalinga alankara. We finished with Kavyarthapatti. Now Kavyalingam is Samarthaniyasya arthasya Kavyalingam Samarthanam. So Samarthanam is something that needs justification. So otherwise it won't fit. Without the proper Kavya justification, if the meaning does not fit, then you try to give the justification also, then it is called the Kavyalinga alankara. It's very similar to our, anumanam or something like that. There is a hetu for such an expression. That is what you are looking at. There is a Kavyalinga alankara, there is a hetu alankara and anumana alankara. There are subtle differences between the three. Luckily for now, we are not going to read hetu and anumana, and it's not there for Samartha. We will read Kavyalinga alankaram. When we come to hetu and anumanam, we will see how it differs in that particular text. Okay. Kavyalinga samarthaniyasya arthasya samarthaniyam samarthana apekshasya, that which requires a samarthana, that which requires a justification. Tasya arthasya samarthanam yadi kriyate. If we do give a justification within that explanation, within the vachyartha, then it is called Kavyalingam nama alankaraha. The example is Jitosi manda kandarpa matchittesti trilochanaha. He manda kandarpa, he moodha kandarpa. His kandarpa is Cupid, Manmatha. Hey Manmatha, you who are moodha, you're a fool, or you don't realize that you have been conquered by me. Tvam jito asi. It is very difficult to conquer Cupid, and if he makes such a statement, it needs a justification. Why does someone say that he has won over Manmatha here? Machittesti trilochanaha. In my mind, the three-eyed Shiva who had destroyed you is present here in my mind. So even if you say Shiva or someone else also, then this meaning won't be justified with such force. Only because he has said Trilochanaha, the one with three eyes, the third eye was responsible for the destruction of Manmatha. And hence, that Trilochana who had destroyed Manmatha is present in my mind. Hence, I can say that Manmatha cannot enter my mind where Shiva is present. So, he manda kandarpa, moodha kandarpa, tvam jitaha asi, matchiste trilochanaha asti iti udaharanam. Atra madana jayasya dushkaratvat, because it is very difficult to conquer Manmatha. Tad jaya upanyasaha samarthanam apekshate. Upanyasaha is putting forth the idea that he has been conquered, or the victory over Manmatha. When he starts off with that upanyasa, when that idea is floated, it needs a justification here. Samarthanam apekshate swa antahkarane manasi madana dahaka trilochana sannidhana pradarshanena tat samarthanam kritam iti Kavyalingam. So madana dahaka trilochana sannidhana pradarshanena, by showing pradarshanena, by showing that there is the presence of the three-eyed one, which is Shiva, Trilochana, who burnt Manmatha. Madana dahakaha trilochanaha tasya sannidhanasya pradarshanena tat samarthanam kriyate madana jayasya samarthanam kriyate. Samartakaha hetuhu vakyarthaha padarthaha va bhavati. The samarthanam can either be in the form of a sentence, or it can just be in the form of one word. So here, this is vakyartha hetuka Kavyalingam, because matchitte asti trilochanaha iti sampurnam vakyam vartate natu ekam padam. So the hetu, which if it is in the form of vakyam, then it is vakyartha hetuka Kavyalingam. Now the aparam udaharanam here is Padartha hetukam Kavyalingam. Okay. Clear so far? Okay, now we'll go to the
That one
Aparamudahar.
has a typo or what?
Which one?
Vakya, the previous page you just showed in that, it says Pradartho.
Padarthaha. Typo.
Okay, okay.
भस्मोद्धूलन भद्रमस्तु भवते रुद्राक्षमाले शुभे हासोपान परंपरे गिरिसुता कांतालयालंकृते अद्याराधन तोषितेन विभुना युष्मत् सपर्या सुखालोकोच्छेदिनि मोक्ष नामनि महामोहे निलीयामहे. This is about a bhakta who has been doing seva, pada seva or archanadikam navavidha bhakti towards Parameshwara, and then he is at the point of entering moksha. Moksha namani mahamohe aham niliyamahe, aham na vayam. So royal we, I am now going to merge myself into this great moham, delusion, mahamoham, called moksha. Moksha namani mahamohe niliyamahe. I'm going to go and merge with this big delusion or big confusion, which is called moksha. Moham is something that completely deludes the mind. That is, it pervades the mind, right? Moham is always something that pervades the mind, wherein we cannot see the proper pathway to get out of it. So this moksham is like moham, from which you don't want to get out also. That itself needs a justification here. Nobody will call moksham. It is only moksha removes moham of the mind. You can't call moksha as moham itself, right? So the Acharya also wrote Bhajagovindam. The original name is called Moha Mudgara. Mudgara is like in the Valakkam, it's like the pestle which destroys the moha. So moksha cannot become moha here. That needs justification. Let's go over the shloka and then come to the alankara. Bhasmodhulana bhadramastute. He is talking about each and every chinnam that shows that he is a Shiva Bhakta, and though he is doing his pranamanjali for each of those chinnam, which helped him in Saguna Upasana. So you have to move from Saguna Upasana to Nirguna Upasana. Now he has been doing all of this seva to Shiva by wearing bhasma. Bhasma Uddhulanam nama, wearing vibhuti, and then Rudrakshamala, going to the temple, climbing up the stairs to the temple where Parvati is also there, and going to Parvati's temple also. Now he's saying, by doing all of these things, by taking care of three of you, all of you three, I'm now going to go into moksha, because Parameshwara has been pleased by my devotion and he has granted me this moksha, which removes the light of the world. So Bhasma Uddhulanam nama tat kriyam sambodhanattvena atra nirdeshati. So Bhasma Uddhulana kriya vartate kalu. So he is addressing the kriya itself, the action of wearing vibhuti. Hey Bhasma Uddhulana, bhadramastu bhavate. May good be with you. Namaskaram pandra madri, porum unaku nanmai undagatum. I don't want to have anything to do with you from now on. You have helped me a lot in the process here. So bhadramastu bhavate. Rudrakshamale shubhe astu. So shubham astu iti prayaha bhavati, but he says shubhe. He shubhe rudrakshamale bhasmoddulana bhavate bhadram astu. You can take it as separate also. Hey Rudrakshamale, Shubhe Rudrakshamale, the auspicious Rudrakshamala is addressing the mala and saying, Bhadramastu bhavate, let there be good to you. And then Ha Sopana Parampare, Girisuta Kanta Alaya Alankrite, Sopana Parampara Vartate Tatra Alaye. Girisuta Kanta Kanta Girisutayaha Kantaha Shivaha. Shivasya alayam alankaroti. Yat sopanam. Tasya sopanasya paramparam atra namaskaroti. So, he sopana parampare, a row of steps, which is beautifying the temple, alayam, of the Kanta, of the beloved of Giri Suta, Himavat Putri, which is Parvati. So, Parvati Kantasya Shivasya alayam vartate. Tatra, and in that mandiram, there is a sopanam. There is a row of steps that go up. Sopana parampara. He's addressing that steps and saying, namaskaraha. Badramastu bhavate. You take that Badramastu bhavate for each and everything. May good be with you. Adya, why is he? It is as if he is saying bye bye to all of these things and saying, Adya, aradhanatoshitena vibhuna, vibhuhu Parameshwaraha. But he also addresses him not as Girisuta Kanta, but he addresses him as the Atma Swarupa, who is Vibhu, who is all pervading. So, by the all pervading one who is pleased with my aradhanam, pleased with my bhakti, Yushmat Saparya Sukha Aloka Uchchedini Moksha Namani Mahamohe Niliyamahe. Because of Parameshwara, who is pleased with my aradhanam, I go and merge with this in this great moham called moksha, which is capable of uchchedini, which removes the alokam, light, that light of sukham, light of happiness that arises from serving you all. So usually bhakti, when you are in that bhakti margam, there is a happiness associated with it. And he's saying that moksham is going to remove that happiness which I got by doing service to Bhasmoddulanam, Rudrakshamala, and the Mandira. Okay. So Yushmat Saparya Sukha Aloka Uchchedini. It is going to remove that Sukham, that beautiful, blissful light that was there when I was doing Bhakti Upasana. And that light will be now removed by Moksham, because only when you are in the Moksha state, Moksha Avastha, you are not going to think of Bhakti at all. Clear? So Atra Mokshasya Mahamohatvam Aprasiddham. It's not prasiddham that you call moham. Mokshaha tu moham apanayati. Parantu mokshaha eva mohaha iti cheta tattu na prasiddham. So that requires a justification. Samarthanam apekshate. Tacha yushmat saparya sukha aloka uchchedini iti padarthena samarthitam iti padartha hetukam kavyalingam. So when you take this one padam, moha is like andhakaram, which removes light. So in the same way, moksham also behaves like moham because it removes the light of doing service, doing seva, doing upasana. All of this doing upasana is like an aloka. It is like a light. And that upasana factor is removed when we go to moksham. So moksham is like moham, which removes light. He could have, if he had described it as, Surya, Maha Prakashe, Moksha Namani, which removes the darkness of Saparya, then it is not Kavilingam. Whereas here, it needs a justification because he is saying moksham is moha. Clear? And the justification is done by just one word here, even though it is a big samastha padam. That one word itself, it's not a sentence here. So only one word justifies the whole thing. And so it is a padartha hetukam kavilingam.
Saparya ityukte?
Saparya puja.
Okay.
Shaktam, Shaivam, everywhere when you say saparya, it is the method of doing puja or upasana is called saparya. I don't see that word being used in the context of Vaishnava. They probably use prapatti, sharanagati, I don't know what they use, but then saparya is very unique to Shiva Shakti puja. I don't know. I've not seen it being used in other cases. That's why I'm saying. Probably there are people who use the word.
But
we don't
why?
use it, ma'am.
It's like
We don't use it, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
that is
It's interesting, no?
Okay.
More in Shaktam, Saparya is a word that's used.
But by
It's like
describing,
for yeah, please go ahead, Haridas.
Go ahead.
no, I was just saying, but by describing moksha as moha, it's causing a deliberate confusion, like something like a virodha bhasa. It's causing a deliberate confusion, isn't it?
Yeah, in a way it is, but see, if you look at many people who are atma ramascha munayaha, tathapi urukrame, right? Bhaktir ahaitukim kurvanti ahaitukim bhaktim ityasti. So for them it is like a light which gives them something to do. They derive pleasure in bhakti, even though they are they dwell in the Atmaswarupa. So அப்படி எடுக்கறச்சே, so he wants to bring this as இது இல்லையா?
Okay.
ஓ, நாராயணியத்துல இருக்கா? அவர் என்ன இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ்ல சொல்றாரு தெரியல. நித்யம் வர்யாம் சபர்யாம் விதததை விபோ துத்பிரசாதம் பஜேயம். நாராயணியம்லாம் ப்ராப்பர் வைஷ்ணவ கிரந்தம்னு எடுத்துக்கூடாது. இட்ஸ் I can't call it as a Vaishnava Grantha. Anyway.
It's like enlightened people, they kind of act mad, right? So
they are entitled to say moksha is moham, correct? Balonmattavat.
Yeah. But Narayanan is Bhagavatam, right? So
Irkalam, Bhagavatam is not a Vaishnava Grantha. Why should it be termed as a Vaishnava? I'm talking about more the technical texts. And people who use in the usage la varrache yarum appadi saparyaanu solradhu kediyadu.
Okay. In the 92nd dashakam, second shloka.
Arthantaranyasa alankara. So now this is also samarthanam, very similar, but then the samarthanam is through samanya vishesha, general and particular. Uktihi arthantaranyasaha syat samanya visheshayoho. Samanya visheshayoho uktihi arthantaranyasaha. When you have a samanyam, a general statement, and then a particular statement also, then it is arthantaranyasa. You can justify one with the other. So there are two types of arthantaranyasa. So tayoscha ekam prastutam, aparam aprastutam. Both are mentioned. Prastutam is also mentioned. Aprastutam is also mentioned. The prastutam could be samanyam or prastutam could be vishesha. The aprastutam, non-context could be samanyam or the non-context could be vishesha. So it depends on the way the poet wishes to say. So tatascha visheshe prastute tena saha aprastuta samanyasya nyasaha ekaha arthantaranyasaha. So when vishesha is the context, that is when a particular subject, we are talking about a vyakti, who is the context here. Tena saha aprastuta samanyasya nyasaha. If another non-contextual samanyam, a generalization, is placed, nyasaha, then it is one type of arthantaranyasa. Samanye prastute. When a generalized version, we are talking about subhashitas, for example, then when samanye prastute sati, when you are talking about people's characters in general, and you are substantiating by a vishesha nyasaha, visheshasya nyasaha cheta, then it is a dvitiya, a second type of arthantaranyasa. So evam arthantaranyasaha dvividhaha bhavati. Okay. The example atra idam avadheyam samanya visheshayoho nyase samarthya samarthaka bhavaha avasyam bhavati. It's not generally, I am not saying about some particular example and some generalized statement without any connection between the two. Tatha nasti. There is a samarthyam and there is a samarthaka, that which needs a justification, and you are justifying it through a samanyam. The samanyam needs justification and you are justifying it through a vishesha. So there is a samarthya samarthaka bhavaha. Samarthyam, that which needs justification. Samarthaka, that which justifies. This bhava should be there when you are placing samanyam and vishesha. Kavyalinge api samarthya samarthaka bhavaha asti, but there is no samanya vishesha bhavaha there. Evam sati Kavyalinga Arthantaranyasayoho ayam bhedaha. So what is the difference between Kavyalinga and Arthantaranyasa? Samarthya samartakayoho samanya vishesha sambandhe Arthantaranyasaha. Tad anya nishpadya nishpadaka bhavadi sambandhe Kavyalingam. So tadanya ityukte apart from samanya vishesha sambandha, if there are other sambandhas that you can point out, except for generality and particular statement, these two should not be there. If these two statements are there, then you have to put it under Arthantaranyasa. If there is a nishpadya nishpadaka bhava, this gives rise to that, or that gives rise to this, tatha, because trilochanaha tatra madanasya dahakaha asit, sa trilochanaha machitte asti ataha. So there is no samanya vishesha bhava there, but it is a hetu mad bhava or a nishpadya nishpadaka bhava, so that which gives rise to something. Because of the presence of one statement, it can justify the other statement. Okay, both are context here in Kavyalingam. Generally in Kavyalingam both will be context, whereas here it can be non-contextual or contextual. The samanya, generally if the vishesha is contextual, then your samanyam should be non-contextual, right? So this is the difference between Kavyalingam and Arthantaranyasa. Samanyena vishesha samarthana rupasya Arthantaranyasasya udaharanam. Yeah. Have a doubt? Okay.
Yeah,
Hanuman,
I wanted to ask you. The etymology of the word Arthantara. So antara means other. What does it? How do you get it?
Anyaha arthaha. Anyasya arthasya nyasaha.
Anyasya arthasya. So antara meaning the other. Anyaha iti.
Arthantaram, deshantaram, namantaram, parichayalendu படிச்சுட்டு bodhini.
Yeah. Right. Okay, got it.
Hanuman abdhim atarat dushkaram kim mahatmanam. So take it as two sentences. Hanuman abdhim atarat. Atra Hanuman abdhim samudram atarat. He crossed the ocean. Iti visheshaha. This is about one particular person called Hanuman. Anjaneya Swaminam prati atra varnana. So Hanuman abdhim atarat. Now you're justifying it with a generality, saying Mahatmanam kim dushkaram. What is difficult for great people here? Iti samanyena samarthyate. So he is a great person. Mahatma Hanuman ataha saha abdim atarat samudram atarat. So it is not a so samanya jananam krite tu samudra taranam dushkaram bhavati, parantu Mahatmanam kim dushkaram kimapi dushkaram nasti samudra taranam api dushkaram nasti. Tasmat Hanuman Mahatma iti karanat Hanuman abdim atarat. So this is how your justification goes. So you go through some 4 or 5 sentences in your mind to justify this, right? But then the expression is so beautiful when you say it in these 2 sentences. I think he gives the aparam udaharanam immediately. No. Divakarad rakshati yo guhasu linam. Yes, this is Kumar Sambhava. Divakarad rakshati yo guhasu Linam diva bhitam ivandhakaram kshudrepi noonam sharanam prapanne mamatvam uchchai shirasam sativa. Divakarat yaha divakarat linam guhasu diva rakshati bhitam iva andhakaram. Yaha himot parvatasya varnanatra. So yaha himavan bhitam andhakaram. It is as if andhakara, the darkness, is afraid of diva. Divakarat bhitam iva andhakaram. Diva, during the daytime, this darkness, which seems to be as if afraid, bhitam, it is as if afraid of divakara, Surya. So being as if afraid of the sun, it goes and merges within the guhasu, within the caves inside the Himat Parvata, in the Himalayas. So guhasu linam rakshati. Yaha rakshati himot parvatam. So that which protects the andhakara, which is as if it is afraid of the sun, and it has come and taken refuge, linam. It has hidden itself in the caves of Himot Parvata and is being protected by Himalayas. So yaha rakshati, andhakaram rakshati, asti. Asti uttarasyam dishi devatatma himalayo nama nagadhirajaha. It goes and fits there. So in the first shloka, around 24 shlokas or 25 shlokas are there, which are description of Himot Parvata. The first shloka starts with Asti uttarasyam dishi devatatma himalayo nama nagadhirajaha. Purvaparau toyanidhi vagahya sthitav prithivyaha iva manadandaha. So that is manadandaha saha himavat parvataha devatatma asti yaha yam yena ityadi. There are several shlokas which have this yat padam to describe how this Himavat Parvata is. So the second one is yam sarva shaila parikalpya vatsam iti. So each one shloka has something which is a description of Himavat Parvata. So yaha, that Himavat Parvata, which protects the darkness, which is as if it is afraid of the sun, and it has come and hid itself into its own guha. Now, what is this? He justifies this vishesha with a samanyam. Correct. Samanyam, which is kshudrepi noonam sharanam prapanne mamatvam uchchaishirasam sati iva. Sati ucche prapanne sati, when kshudre api sharanam prapanne sati, noonam uchchaishirasam mamatvam vartate. Definitely, uchchaishirasam, those people who are large-hearted, who are noble-minded, uchchaishirasam means those who have their head held high, and they are supposed to be noble characters. Okay, here Himavat Parvata is a tall mountain, so it is physically also, Himavan is very tall here, uchchaishiras, ones whose peak is at a tall, very tall, high position. Uchchaishiras also means one who can hold his head high. He can be happy with himself or proud of himself that he has done a good deed. Tadrisha uttama jananam mamatvam vartate. If anybody comes and takes refuge to such noble-hearted people, sharanam prapanne sati, when they come in refuge, who are they? Kshudre api, even if it is a kshudra person, even if it is a nicham, a very lowly person who has come in refuge, still these noble-hearted people, they will have a kind of kindred feeling, mamatvam. I am mama, iti bhavaha tasya vartate, tesham vartate. So the andhakara here is supposed to be a very kshudra, nicha person. You take it as, bahudosha hi sharvari. In Vrichakatikam, there is a statement. Sharvari, the night is bahudosha. So she is also called dosha iti amarakoshe api vartate. For night, there is a word called dosha. That is, a lot of mistakes happen during night. A lot of dosham, right? It happens during the night. So the night is called bahudosha. So if someone does a lot of nicha karyam, then it is a kshudra, is a very lowly person. So andhakara is compared to a kshudra here. So kshudre api, even if it is a kshudra person, still if he has come in refuge, the great people, they have a mamatvam towards these people. So the first one is yaha iti himavat parvatasya prastutam. So that becomes the vishesha. Samanyam is uchchaishirasam, those people who are in general large-hearted. So it is talking about a generalized view of people, right? So this is the visheshasya samarthanam samanyena. Clear? So this is the aparam udaharana. Next one is visheshena samanyasya samarthana rupasya arthantaranyasasya. So the prastutam would be vishesha, and you take, prastutam would be samanyam, and you take the example, particular example to justify the samanyam. This comes mostly in the case of Subhashitas. Gunavadvastu samsargat yati swalpopi gauravam pushpamala anushangena sutram shirasi dharyate. Gunavadvastu samsargat swalpaha api gauravam yati. Even a small person, swalpaha api, gunavadvastu samsargat, by the samsarga, by the association of a vastu, of an object which is gunavad, which has a lot of good qualities. So gunavadvastu samsargat, by that association with a good vastu, swalpaha api, even if it is a very insignificant object, gauravam yati, it is treated with respect because it has this association with a very noble thing. Now this is a general statement. He is justifying it with a particular example, saying pushpamala anushangena, by the association anushangena with the pushpamala, with a garland, the sutram, nobody would normally wear just a thread on the head. But if the thread has a lot of flowers in it, and it is because of the association of being a pushpamala, the sutram, the thread is now can be worn, it is worn on the head. Shirasi dharyate, because of the presence of flowers there. So swalpopi nikrishtaha api gunavadvastu sambandhat gauravam yati prapnoti. Pushpamalayaha anushangena samparkena, by the samparka, contact with a pushpamala, a row of flowers. Sutram tantuhu, the thread which ties all of those flowers. Shirasi dharyate, the thread is being worn on the head. Ityatra nirgunasya gunavat samparkat, when a person who does not have any qualities, does not have merits, but he has an association with a gunavat, a person who has a lot of good qualities. Gaurava prapti rupam samanyam prastutam. So saha gauravam prapnoti iti prastuta vishayah. So that is the prastuta vishaya, that is the context, and it is a samanyam, it is a general statement. Tantoho pushpamala sambandhena, by the association of a garland, flower garland, tantoho shirasa vahana rupa gaurava prapti rupena aprastuta visheshena samarthitam. So tantoho shirasi vahanam gaurava praptihi. So that shirasi vahanam ityukte thalamela vechikra, shiramer kondu அப்படிங்கிறோம் இல்லையா, அப்படின்னா you give a lot of respect by keeping it on your head. A thread is given so much of respect. So gaurava prapti rupena, that is a vishesha, particular story of a thread here. But that thread is not the context. Nobody wants to describe the thread here. They only want to generally state how even a nirguna person gets gaurava. Iti samarthitam. Okay. So iti Arthantaranyasa lakshana samanvayaha. Asya अपरम उदाहरणं निजदोषावृत मनसाम अतिसुन्दरमिव आभाति विपरीतं पश्यति पित्तोपहतः शशिशुभ्रं शंखमपि पीतम्. Nothing. He has just gone to the next alankara. இதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து which is the சாமான்யம் விசேஷம் எதுவுமே சொல்ல. ஓகே. நிஜ தோஷ ஆவృత மனசாம் விபரீதம் அதிசுந்தரம் இவ ஆபாதி. So something, people who are colored by their own vision, people whose perspective is colored by their own mistakes. Nija dosha avrita manasam. Their minds are avrita, covered by nija dosha, their own mistakes கூட இல்ல, impurities னு எடுத்துக்கலாம். தோஷம்ங்கிறதுக்கு என்ன?
Bias, defects. Defect. By their own defects, they are colored by their own blemishes, you know. So nija dosha avrita manasam, for those people, viparitam, anything that is different, appears to be extremely sundaram. So, ati sundaram iva abhati, or ati sundaram iva, ama appadithaan eduthukanum. Ena iva goes with ati sundaram, so you can't take the viparitam here. Pashyati pittopahataha shashishubhram shankhamapi pitam pashyati. So pitta upahataha, a person who has been attacked by pittam, that is, he has an excess of pittam, bile in his, then his eyes are clouded. So that is, it is jaundiced eye. So one who has jaundice, pitta upahataha, shashishubhram shankamavi api, even a conch which is as white as the moon appears pitam, it appears yellow to a person who has jaundice, right? So who has excess of bile. So pitta upahataha, this becomes a vishesha. So samanyam atra nijadosha avrita manasam, those who are attacked by their own blemishes, that is, they are covered, their mind is completely covered by their own faults. They look at everything that is viparitam as very beautiful, or anything that is very beautiful as viparitam also. That is also there. The same way, you're justifying it by showing a particular example. This is just like how a person who has excess of bile looks at the white conch and he thinks it is yellow. Okay.
Kaustubhamani is in what color?
Theriyade. Edukku idu?
Kaustubhamani. Because I was thinking in the Sura Saraswati book, it is showing somewhat orangish color for that. I didn't know that it is like that.
No idea. There is no description of what color it is. Sometimes they say it is red in color. Therila. It is a gem. Ama. It doesn't say what color anywhere. I don't know if some Puranam mentions that.
Okay.
But were you asking it because you are thinking some Nija dosham is there in the eyes of the person who painted
Yeah,
it?
my eyes, I was thinking, I have
இருக்கும்.
the-
ஷோ, எங்க இருந்து எங்க கனெக்ட் பண்றீங்க? Okay, any doubts till now?
That udyamena hi siddhyanti, that also is
Yes, udyamena hi siddhyanti karyani namarorataihi. That is general statement. Nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mrigaha is the vishesha. So samanyasya visheshena samarthanam. Perfect. Most of the subhashitas where they give one example like that.
Correct.
You know, look at how it is arranged. If the first line is samanya and the second line is vishesha, then it is samanyasya visheshena samarthanam. If the first line is vishesha and the second line is samanya, then it is reverse. That's all. Okay, visheshasya samanyena samarthanam. Now Vikasvara alankara combines samanya, vishesha and another vishesha. So vishesha, samanya, vishesha. It should be alternative here. It has to start off with the vishesha, then you have to say a samanya, then you have to conclude it with the vishesha. Bhavanti namras taravaha phalodgamaihi navambubihi dura vilambinaha ghanaha anuddhataha satpurushaha samriddhibihi swabhavayevaisha paropakarinam. This is samanyena vishesha samarthanam. So the first one and all are visheshas. Taravaha namraha bhavanti phalodgamaihi. Ambubihi dura vilambinaha ghanaha. The clouds are all hanging down with the water to provide water for everybody. Anuddhataha satpurushaha. Irungo, adukulla peduthu. Satpurushaha samriddhibihi anuddhataha. So good people are, even when they have wealth, they are not very uddhataha nasti, agarvitaha iti, garvarahitaha. Swabhavayesha. That is actually samarthanam. Paropakarinam iti.
But this particular example, can both of them be aprastutam? Both the samanya vishesha, both of them could be aprastutam? Is it possible?
Both of them aprastutamna எங்கயாவது ஒரு இடத்துல கான்டெக்ஸ்ட் சொல்லியே ஆணுமே, then it is completely irrelevant பேசிட்டு இருக்கிற மாதிரி ஆயிடும்.
Previous shloka, if you imagine that, okay, let's say that like Krishna is paying respect to Kunti, he's bowing down. then you would say, like the next shloka follows like this: Bhavan Namras Taravaha, etc. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? The context is previously. This whole thing, these two lines both serve to illustrate that.
Then it will be aprastuta prashamsa. It will not be Arthantaranyasa.
Oh, I see.
If you consider everything as aprastutam, then you have to take it as aprastuta prashamsa.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Vikasvara alankara. Yasmin vishesha samanya visheshaha. Saha vikasvaraha. So yasmin kavye. Vishesha samanya visheshaha vinyasyante. Vinyasyante is they are being placed one after the other. So the first one is vishesha, particular. Then you have a general. Then you have again a vishesha, particular. Tatra vikasvara alankaraha. So saha yatra, let me finish the definition and then go to the example here. So yatra kasyachit visheshasya samarthanartham, in order to justify a particular statement, samanyam vinyasyate. So you are placing a general statement or a story about a general thing to justify a vishesha, and then after that tat prasiddhau api, even though that is fine, aparitushyata, the poet is not satisfied by this, he wants to again give another justification there. So tat prasiddhau api, even though it is prasiddham, that is it is understood and it is also famous, still aparitushyata kavina, the unsatisfied kavi punaha visheshantaram upamana ritya arthantaranyasa vidaya va vinyasyate. He can do it in two ways. One is he can give the vishesha upamana ritya, again visheshantaram, not the first vishesha. He has to bring about another example. Second, udaharanam 2. That udaharanam 2 can be given in either upamana ritya, either as a simile or as arthantaranyasa without using iva, yatha, vat, etc. Okay. Va vinyasyate tatra vikasvara alankaraha iti nishkarshaha. This is the tatparyam of the lakshana. Sanajigye mahantaha hi durdharshaha sagara iva. Saha prasiddhaha raja na jigye. Na jigye, he could not be won over by anybody. The jigyengardu jayate karmani litta irkanam. So, saha na jigye, saha prasiddhaha raja na jigye kenapi na jitaha. He has not been conquered by anybody. This is one sentence, vishesha. Because you're talking about one particular king. Now the next one is samanya. Why do you say that he cannot be, he is not conquered by anybody? Mahantaha hi durdharshaha. Great people are difficult to be won over or difficult to be attacked. Durdharshaha. It is very tough to attack great people. Mahantaha. Like how sagaraha iva. Now this becomes again a vishesha, particular, referring to oceans. Just like the oceans, it is difficult to cross the ocean. So, saha prasiddhaha raja na jigye kenapi na jitaha iti vishesha vinyasaha. First you talk about a particular raja. Tat samarthanam, you justify it is saying mahantaha durdarshaha hi iti samanyena samarthanam kriyate. Visheshasya samarthanam. Tatascha, after that, upamana ritya sagaraha iva iti vishesha nyasaha samanyam artham mahatam durjayatvam dradhayati. Now, through using a similarity, simile, upamana ritya, sagaraha iva, like the oceans, iti vishesha vinyasaha. You are talking about a particular sagaram. Raja is difficult to conquer. In general, great people are difficult to conquer, like the ocean. So, like the ocean becomes a justification for this samanyam here. It is like combining both arthantaranyasas into one here. Okay. So, samanyam artham, why do we take that vishesha again? It is in order to reinforce or dradhayati. He is reinforcing the fact that Mahatam, great people cannot, it is very difficult to, Durjayatvam, their inconquerable nature, or it is difficult to conquer. That nature is being reinforced by the Vishesha at the end. The most famous example he gives as the Aparam Udaharanam here. Anantaratna prabhavasya yasya himam na saubhagya vilopi jatam eko hi dosho gunasannipate nimajjati indoho kiranayeshu iva ankaha. Anantaratna prabhavasya yasya again, like the last shloka that we saw, yo divakara drakshatiyo, right? So the same way here also, yasya iti himavat parvatasya anantaratna prabhavasya. It is a repository, or it gives rise to many gems. It is a mountain which has a lot of ratnam within it. Not ratnam iti atra na kevalam gems illa. Adadu not only manikyam ityadikam, but you take it as shrestha vachi shabda. Ratnam is a shrestha vachi shabda. Anything you take, vriksham, the best will be in Himavat Parvata. You take the simha, lions or elephants, the best would be there. Hunters, the best would be on Himavat Parvata. The description is such that in Kumarasambhavam, right? So Anantaratna Prabhavasya Yasya, for Himavan, who produces endless gems, endless number of great things. Himam, it is snow makes it unapproachable. So Himam becomes Saubhagya Vilopi, that which destroys the beauty of Himavat Parvata. Na jatam iti se. He says that snow does not remove the Saubhagyam that is there for Himavat Parvata. Sometimes you think that if it is snow-clad mountains, it looks beautiful from far off. Yes, as a scenery, as a calendar picture, it is beautiful, fine. But then to approach it, people will approach it with very, savadhanataya tatra samipam gacchanti khalu. It is a dangerous area because it's got snow, you don't know what is there, snow covers the land, and it's beautiful only from far. When you go near, it is unapproachable at that point of time. So some people may consider that it takes away the beauty from Himavat Parvata. So Saubhagya Vilopi, Vilopayati iti Vilopi, that which removes. This is an adjective to Himam. Snow which Vilopi, which removes Saubhagyam, iti na jatam. The snow that is there does not remove the beauty of Himavat Parvata, from where so many good things, Ananta, endless beautiful things have come about. This is the Vishesha about particular aspect about Himavat Parvata. Now in general, what is it? Eko hi dosho guna sannipate nimajjati. This is the Samanyam. Guna sannipate. There are so many good qualities. There is just one dosha there. Just one fault, one blemish. That will go and nimajjati, linam bhavati, tatra tirohitam bhavati. No, you say, look at Himavat Parvata and there are thousands of good things there, and this one small dosham will completely merge and nobody will look at it at all. So it justifies the fact that Himam is not a Saubhagya Vilopi, neither is it Saubhagya Adhayi. That's a different matter. After saying Eko hi dosho, Guna sannipate, sannipataha nama samuhaha. Guna samuhe ekaha doshaha nimajjati, tirohitam bhavati, kopina pashyati. Kathamiva indoho ankaha kiraneshu iva. Just as how the ankam, kalankam, when you see a Purnima, yesterday was Paurnami here, right? So when you see a Purnima Chandraha, and the blemish completely merges in the light that emanates from the Chandra. So indoho kiraneshu ankaha yatha nimajjati tatha gunasannipate ekaha doshaha nimajjati. Now this Samanyam is justified by this Vishesha of the story of Chandra and its Kalankam. This Samanya in turn justifies the story of Himavat Parvata. So you have a Vishesha, Samanya, and Vishesha. This is also Upamana Ritya only. Because Eva is present here. Arthantaranyasa Rupena api bhavitum arhati. I don't know if they have given an example. Maybe original lerkonum. Okay. Is this clear?
So is it Arthantaranyasa Garbhita Vikasvara?
If you see, Vikasvara Alankara, I think is a creation of our Appayya Dikshita.
Appayya Dikshita.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very aptly named because Vikasvara means blossoming, right? So it's like how a flower blossoms in stages. Konja first time and then fully, right? It's like a very nicely named.
If it is other people, they would just say Arthantaranyasa and Upama Angangi Bhavena Vartate, Athava, you can take it as Sandeha Sankara, which is Pradhanam, you don't know which is Pradhanam here, right? All three seem to have the same amount of Pradhanyam.
See, but when I do the Anvaya of that shloka, right, like the one which you just showed, even Kalidasa shloka or the one before that, I could possibly take it as a Upama kind of, because I can say, Indoho gunasam sannipate kiraneshu eko hi ankaha doshaha nibajjati iva. I mean, it would take or I can take it like that.
Yeah, but that Eva will never connect with Himam na Saubhagya Vilopi Jatam cannot happen there. So this Eva is actually justifying only if you take it as two separate sentences.
Sorry, why can't it justify Nimajjati Eva as if it disappears?
Correct.
Okay.
As if it disappears, it cannot stand as a statement. What is the Yatha part? Tatha or Tata part. Yatha.
That Tatha is implied. Eko hi dosho Yatha Nimajjati Iva Anantara Prabhavasya Himam na Vilopi Jatam.
Adepri. Adu avarade. It is Ankaha Yatha Kiraneshu Nimajjati Tatha Himam Anantaratneshu Nimajjati iti tatra bhavitavyam. Tatha eva tatra upama bhavet. Vachye tu tatha nasti.
Okay, hold on. So, hold on. Himam, Anantaratna Prabhavasya Himam, Saubhagya Vilopi, Najatam, that Yatha part is understood. You're saying it's okay. It should be Vachyam, you're saying. That's what you're saying. Okay.
If I have to consider it as Upama, I need the Anvaya properly to take this second sentence as one whole sentence and justify. I cannot do that. So it has to rest as three different sentences.
Because it's missing the Yatha part. If there was a Yatha somewhere, it would be clear.
Even if it is Yatha, I'm saying Himam, so the construct is such that it doesn't tell me that Himam goes and completely merges with all the Ratnam that is there in Himavat Parvata. Okay,
so if I say Yatha Ankaha Kiraneshu Nimajjati, okay, then the Eva is not then the Eva is not needed. Okay, if I say
even then Tatha Himam Ratneshu Nimajjati iti Vaktavyam.
So the Eva is unnecessary?
No, அப்படி சொல்லல. இப்ப என்ன சொல்றோம்னா எந்த ஹிமவத் பர்வதத்துக்கு ஹிமமானது அந்த பனிங்கிறது அதுக்கு பியூட்டிய கெடுக்கல. எப்படி சந்திரனுடைய அங்கம் அதனுடைய பியூட்டிய கெடுக்கலையோங்கணுமா இல்லையா?
எந்த விதமா the anka does not destroy the beauty of the moon. அந்த விதமா himam does not destroy the beauty of
Himavat Parvata. Right. So the construct of the sentence, construct of the kavyam should be in that manner. For me to say the entire thing is two sentences and one is an upamanam for the other.
Okay, so I guess what I'm doing is I'm supplying the words in my mind, even though it's not Vachyam. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So if I take this as upamanam, it can be as an upamanam only for this sentence. It cannot be an upamanam for this sentence. It only justifies that.
Yeah.
See, we always tend to think of how we have understood the whole thing.
and try
Right.
to supply the alankara.
Right. But you have to look at the words. Yeah.
அங்கதான் நமக்கு வந்து பிரச்சனை வரும்.
In this, like the previous one, there are no three parts, right? In that previous example, Sana Jigye Mahanto Hi Durdarsha Sagara Haiva. There is like first is a particular Sana Jigye and then generic statement Mahanto Hi Durdarsha. And then again a
Here you can apply. Here you can apply your statement of saying Saha Mahantaha Sagaraha Iva Saha na jignye yatha mahantaha sagaraha durdarshaha.
Yeah, see here I could that's why I was thinking. That's why I was thinking, I could do it there as well.
Yes.
Okay.
But not here.
Yeah, but the beauty of the construct is a little bit lessened, I guess, if you do it. Right?
Yeah. அதுல விகஸ்வரம் அழகு வராதே.
Yeah.
In that Pashyati, I mean, Eko hi dosho, there is no three parts, right? Only two, right? Eko hi dosho guna sannipate, that one.
Nimajjati is one part.
One part. And then
Indoho kiraneshu ankaha nimajjati iti second part. Now this is the first part.
Oh, that whole thing.
You are leaving out the context here.
Correct. I'm just used to looking at the second line in that lakshana and then.
No, this is the full shloka you have to look at. The first line becomes the vishesha. So you have vishesha and then the samanya and then you have the vishesha. So there are three parts.
Udaharanams, you have to look the whole shlokas, right?
Yeah.
All of the Aparam Udaharanam.
Yes. Suddenly Shobha
I'm happily leaving out the first line as if it's a lakshana and then going. Thank you.
Yeah. No worries. Okay, I think we have just 3 more alankaras, which we will do next class. Okay.